Awesome. So we are on record. Thank you for coming to the Zoominar, as I call them. I don't know if that's a word yet, Zoominar, but that's what I call them because it's a webinar on Zoom. And what I want to talk about today is how we can take 30 highly qualified leads in 30 days in as little as 30 minutes a day of our time. And people say, well, how is that even possible? Well, you know, networking just doesn't work. People know me as the networking expert, the networking guru. But the thing is, networking itself, I've noticed over 15 years and tens of thousands of people and thousands of events I've been to, the reason why networking itself per se doesn't work is because it's random activity. It's just showing up and suiting up, showing up, which is half the game, to suit up and show up. But now that we're suiting up and showing up, let's take it a step further. And let's also keep in mind that networking isn't just a place we go or something that we put on our schedule. It's anytime, anywhere we're communicating with another human being. So what I want to do is I want to bust 3 of the myths that I hear so often about networking, and then get into how we take those 30 highly qualified leads in 30 days with 30 minutes or less a day and activity. And so first of all, I just want to share with you that one of the reasons why I feel qualified to teach this subject is over the last 16 years, I just by default had to get out and network. I was a single 16 years ago. I lived in a different part of the country. I moved to a totally different part of the country, 2,000 miles away. And basically I was a single mother. I had a daughter that was less than a year old when I actually moved here. And even though I've been a brick and mortar business owner, even though I had sold gum to kids for a profit at 8 years of age, always had that entrepreneurial mindset and spirit, I had found myself in a really depressing, bad, sad place. And I don't want to take you there for long. I just want you to be able to understand, if someone can come from where I was at into doing what I'm doing today, I'm telling you, anybody can do it. Imagine, if you will, single mother, 31 years old, new part of the country, doesn't know a soul, 1-year-old baby, laying on the couch with a bottle of Bacardi and just wanting to die while watching the Jerry Springer show. Now, this is not a happy place to imagine, so we won't stay there for long, but it was a really sad place to be. I had made some poor decisions about relationships, about business, just about everything, as you can imagine. And what happened was there came a day when I said, you know what, I got to put my big girl panties on. I got to do something about this. I've got to make a better life for my daughter and myself. And so I went and I got help for that situation. And over the last few years, what's happened is I've gotten blessed by having tons of different mentors, and I didn't even know that's what they were at the time. I was too far in a cloud to even know what a coach or a mentor or finding success and following that pattern. I didn't even know what any of that meant. I was just shown little breadcrumbs along the way. And I've had people that have helped me. And so in that 16 years, I have done silly things like go to networking events early in the morning and grab a bunch of business cards, grab a whole ton of them and not know what to do with them. Got stacks of cards. Now what do? I've spent my whole lunch hour grabbing more business cards and having stacks of them and moving them to different drawers and in this pocket and in this person and this part of the car, et cetera, et cetera. I have gone in the evenings when I needed to have a babysitter, and I see him, Justin, I know. And I've also taken my card and I've thrown it at people. Here's my card. Spraying and praying, as I call it. Spraying those cards everywhere, just praying somebody will call. And these are some of the mistakes that I have watched others do over the years. And I know it doesn't work because I was doing it. And so many of the people that I've coached have been doing it. And so let's talk about how we can rein ourselves in. Whew, take a deep breath. Yes, we need to network. Yes, we need to meet people. We need human interaction. How else are we going to build business if we don't have leads, and if we're not generating leads, and if we're not talking to people? But here's the thing. The reason that networking doesn't work is because it wastes time on random activity, just showing up, spraying those cards everywhere, gathering all those cards, or what I call sharking through the room. What do you do? What do you do? What do you do? What do you do? It's boring and it's gross and it's very, it's not creative. And so let's start to have strategy in how we're going out. I'm calling it net webbing. Let's create a net web of resources, relationships that turn into the revenue that rock by being planned in our strategy. So there's 3 myths that I want to bust today that I hear all the time. So my kind of people who really resonate with what I do are entrepreneurs, coaches, speakers, small business owners who tell me all the time, Cami, I don't have time to network. I just don't have time. Or they say, I go networking, but I'm not having the results that I want. And at the end of the day, they've got great products and great services, and they're awesome at what they do. They just don't have enough quality people to talk to about what they do so that they may serve them. So let's talk about not having enough time. There's a big difference in being productive and being busy. Listen, everybody's busy. I get it. I'm busy, you're busy, they're busy, she's busy, everybody's busy. So I'm going to propose, suggest, be bold, and say, instead of trying to find more time to network, how about if we leverage our time from networking? There's a different idea. So let's just imagine you're going to a networking event. And by the way, networking isn't just a place you go, it's all the time. But right now we're going to talk about a place. So you're going to a networking event, call it AM or PM, whatever it looks like. It's going to take you a half hour to get there. You're going to be there for an hour, hour and a half. It's going to take you a half hour to drive home, extra time talking to people, what have you. If you've got 3 or 4 hours, that's kind of a long time to put into that one stinking event. So let's leverage it. Let me give you one example of this. There is a philosophy that I go by called research, reach out, relationship build. And I'm going to give you a couple of examples of how this works and why you want to be doing it. Research, reach out, relationship build. So research means there's people at that event. If it's a meetup, you can see right down the right-hand side of the screen who's going to be there. If it's not a meetup, but you can, and you've pulled it up online, you can see who the speakers are, you can see who the coordinators are. And even if you can't see who's going to be there, you could at least research what the topic is so that you're speaking more intelligently when you get there. But you typically can at least find who is running the event, if not a whole list of the people that are participating. So as a speaker, when I walk into an event and I'm being the event, which by the way, is a total leg up yoga move. And if you're one of those kind of people who wants to be the event and wants to actually be a speaker and attract and have people come to you, instead of shark in the room, dun, 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 you stand at the front of the room, you present that information that you have, and they come to you, you attract them. But I'm going to an event in a couple of weeks down in the Boston area, and I'm not speaking at this event, but there are 3 other speakers who are. Now, here's the psychology behind this, and here's how this whole thing plays out. I reached out to the 3 speakers that are speaking at that event, and I've got a system as to how to do that. I've got templates and email examples that I can share with my clients as to what that looks like and how I reach out to those people. But I reached out. One of the speakers got back in touch with me. Be really clear. Just because you send out 3, 10, 20 emails, don't worry. They're all not going to respond to you. People are hiding. Even speakers are afraid of talking to people. It's shocking to me as it is. They don't want to do Facebook Lives. They don't want to have conversations. They just want to get on the stage and speak sometimes. But these particular people, one of them has reached out to me. And she actually does content marketing. And I'm going to need some content marketing. I don't have time to write all my email funnels and all that type of thing. So I reached out to her. I used the basic template that I use with my clients, with myself. She and I have been in a little bit of a chit chat back and forth. We've actually already scheduled a time to get on the phone and have a getting to know you call and see if her content writing is good for me. But here's the thing. Understand this. There is a power in who you are associating with. So you walk into that same networking event. You drive through your traffic in Boston just like I do. You aimlessly walk in with no plan. You're just doing random activity. You walk in there. Hi, my name's Bob. What do you do? What do you do? And that's what everybody does. Because I am planned and strategic, have now not only created some conversation with another human being that I could end up collaborating with. Maybe she does some work for me. Maybe I do some work for her. I don't know. Maybe we become best friends. I don't know. Maybe I marry your brother. Who knows, right? I don't know where that relationship's going to go. But here's the beauty of this. When I walk into that same meeting that you're walking into, she is going to recognize me by my face, because I am making sure that I'm being seen in the public. Stop hiding people. So she's going to recognize, and even if she doesn't recognize me, when I walk up and I say, hi, so-and-so, Cami Baker, we actually have an appointment next week to go, she's going to be like, oh my God, hi, Cami. And we're going to hug because we've already had some interaction. Now, the people in the room are going to see me talking to the speaker and giving her a nice big hug. They don't know if we just met 3 minutes ago. They don't know if she's my best friend. They don't know if we're business partners. Like, they don't know. Association with the leaders in the room is a massive leg up yoga move. This is when you really elevate how you're being seen in the public eye. How are you being seen, received, perceived when you walk into a room? How? Seriously. Like, are you just walking in and randomly, hi, my name is, because believe me, I've done it 1,000, 5,000 times, tons of times. But when you've seen something over and over and over, and you see how it plays out, and you're strategic, and you know that now that I know the speaker in the room, I tell my clients, if they live around me, when I'm going to a speaking event, if you're my client or my friend, you better be your butt in the chairs, not because I need you in the chair necessarily, although there's power and edification back and forth and being each other's testimony in the room. But the fact that I'm speaking on the stage, when I know someone and I'm introducing them around, it just elevates how people see them just because they're being introduced by the speaker. So when we say we don't have time to network, you're right. You don't have time for all this random activity of driving to events and doing the same thing that hasn't worked for years already. Let's learn to be planned and strategic. That's just one of the simple ways that I have leg up yoga moves that I use with my clients and with myself. Research, reach out, relationship build. If over on the side it's a meetup and there's 10, 15, 100 people going, when I say research, I'm not talking about half an hour or a day looking somebody up and going to their website and clicking all around and learning what their favorite foods are. I'm talking about, you see somebody over there, and by the way, if you have Meetup, your emails, your LinkedIn, all that stuff, you got to update those things, make them look nice. But even on Meetup, there are ways to check different boxes and be open to receiving contact, and then there's ways of shutting yourself off. So sometimes when you go to reach out to somebody, you can't even get a hold of them. They're a business person, and you can't even send them a message because they block themselves off. But this is just further evidence of how scared people are of having human interaction. So let's us step out of that fear and actually contact people. So you see somebody along the right-hand side of the meetup, and you click on it. Here's your research. You can already see what they do for work, and most times you can see their headshot. You can see the name of their company. Keep it simple. That's all you need. I've got a template on how, now that you've seen something about them, now that you've done your research for about 10 seconds, now you can reach out to start that conversation, that communication, and then you're starting to build the relationship before you even get there. So if reaching out to the speaker or the coordinator is a little above, the pay grade for you, reach out to other folks who are coming to the event as well. Because when you walk into that event, hi, my name is, all the time that we do that, hi, Greg, glad to see you on the call. When we do that, when we're sticking out saying hello, that's great. And we do need to do that when we do randomly go to events, in the very beginning. But when we already have Greg and Justin and Jeff and Emily that we've already communicated with, and we're already having just a little bit of rapport, just a little bit of something, and I've got the templates for that. Then when we walk in, when we see Jeff, we can say, oh my God, it's so nice to finally meet you. That's a different connection as opposed to what's your name, what do you do? See, now we're talking about, no, you don't have time to network. You're wasting your time networking. You're doing random activity. We're talking about planning and strategizing. So now when we walk into the room, even if Jeff and Emily and Greg and Justin are not there yet, we can ask people, hey, I'm looking to meet Justin Jones. Can you point him out to me? So now we have something to talk about. Now we know people. Now we don't have to feel awkward, as so many people do, walking into an event where you don't know anybody. You're sitting in the car. You're like, I don't want to go in there. I don't even know anybody. This is going to be another one of those boring things, blah, blah, blah. Our mindset's all screwy about it. But when we've actually communicated with a couple of people and we know they're going to be there, maybe we can actually get excited about walking in to meet them. So that's just a couple of the things that I work with people on about not having time to network. That first myth that I want to bust. You're right. You don't have time to network. You need to leverage your time through net webbing by having planned strategy around what you're doing when you're going out to meet people. And number two, let me just look at my notes here. Oh, this is a good one. Cami, you don't understand. Like, I'm not extroverted like you. Like, I wasn't a born networker, so I can't do what you do. Well, good. I don't want you to do what I do. I want you to do what you do. So the second myth is that people think they need to be born extroverts, or that everybody else in the room has got it figured out but them. Like, they walk into a room and these people are laughing and these people are dressed nice and these people are in a little group, a clique over here and all that kind of stuff. And they think that they have to be extroverted and they just weren't born that way. And everybody else gets this but me. Listen, I am not extroverted. I think you'll remember my story of being on the couch with my bottle of Bacardi and just needing to climb out of that bottle. There was nothing in that story that said, hey, I'm extroverted and I'm a lot of fun. I'm the life of the party. This is a learned skill. It is a learned skill. It is something that I needed. See, here's the thing. We learn when we really, really, really need to or really, really want to. In other words, we were 16 years old. We were getting our driver's license. We didn't know how to drive a car either. The reason that we took the time to learn how to drive a car was because we really wanted that freedom. We wanted that freedom and that power of being able to drive a car. It's the same thing in networking. We have to get to a place where we want the freedom and the power of driving our net webbing Ferrari. So it is a learned skill. There are lots of things that you can do. And one of the things I'll tell you is this: stop trying to be somebody else. Stop trying to be like me or that person or that person. Or, wow, she's so outgoing. I just can't talk to people like that. Good, don't. Whatever your personality style is, and there's 4 distinct personality styles, and some people are a big combination of them all. Some of us are just one thing that we are, but we understand them enough that we can flow with it. But there's 4 distinct personality styles. For example, if you are very amiable, if you're just a lovey, touchy, huggy, feely person and too many people overwhelm you, use that to your advantage. You can use that to your advantage because, frankly, I tell people all the time, stop grabbing all those cards. You're like a squirrel. You're grabbing and grabbing, squirreling these cards away. Justin was just showing us all the cards that he has. So if you're more of an amiable person, good. Because one of the things I'll teach is quality versus quantity. Quality over quantity. Use that lovey, huggy, touchy nature of yours to talk to 3 people. You shouldn't be talking to 15 or 30 anyways. You grab all those cards and you're overwhelmed. You never follow up because you don't remember them. They don't remember you. You don't know what to say. You carry them around. You shuffle through them. You look at them. You try to figure out when are you going to call this person and is this person. Stop it. We can use all of who we are to our advantage. I say this all the time. When we have the knowledge of how this works, you use it to your advantage, not to take advantage, but to have the advantage. Have the advantage as to how you can position yourself in the room so that you can use your skill set to your best advantage. So people think that you have to be extroverted. Guys, I know a lot of people that are extroverted that are scared to death of talking in a business networking situation. There's something really icky, just icky about when you get into that situation and people have ulterior motives, and how long do I have to listen to this person yak on before I can really tell them what I want? When can I go for the throat? When can I give my pitch? There's all of that weirdness going on in these environments, and that's okay. It's happening in every one of those environments, but that doesn't mean that you have to be that way. And so you don't have to be, expressive and out there. You don't have to be anybody that you're not. We just want to use your skill set, your personality, your good yummy juju to your advantage, to your benefit. So don't think that you have to be out there and expressive. My friends that are expressive actually have a little bit harder of a time because they're so expressive and they're just so out there and they want to talk to people, but they don't know how to follow up. And they don't know how to present themselves in such a way, sometimes, not everybody, but sometimes in such a way that people take them seriously and professionally because they are so out there. So we all have our crosses to bear, and we all have our great qualities. So it's a matter of focusing in on what our great quality is and running with it. For example, I'm a driver and of the 4 personality styles. And people will say a lot of the time, the other 3 personality styles, a lot of the times want to be a little more like a driver because a driver is a get it done, just take no prisoners, like just balls to the wall, take action kind of person. And so what I would share with you is we all have our cross to bear. As that kind of a personality, I can also be very overbearing. I can be dominating. I can be considered bitchy or crass. And so I have to watch who I am being too when I'm in a situation. So we all have good and bad things about, not good and bad, that's not the right way. We all have variances in who we're being. It's a matter of knowing who we are, who is with us, and how we can use all of that to our advantage. So don't worry about it if you're not extroverted. Don't worry about it if you're not a perfect networker. Of course you're not. We didn't get taught this in school. School is so antiquated. They're teaching us how to be factory workers. And there's not any factories anymore. So we weren't taught how to communicate. We weren't taught how to create a human connection, how to bridge the humanity gap. That's okay. That's what coaching and mentoring is for, because when we can see that we're lacking in something, all we have to do is find somebody who has that which we want, and we learn from them. The third thing is, and I've alluded to this a couple of times, but I'm going to say this again. Networking is not a place that you go. It is not something that you put on your schedule. It doesn't have to be a boring chamber of commerce or meetup or business networking event or conference or whatever. Networking is any time, any place you are communicating with another human being, period. I'll give you a great example. One of my friends is a coach, and she said, well, Cami, I don't go networking, and she needs clients. Boy, does she need clients. She's a great coach. She's great services. This is what I run into a lot. People are great at what they do, but you can have the cure to cancer, and if nobody knows you have it, you're not curing anybody. So I'm talking to this person, and she tells me about this meeting that she goes to every week. And at this meeting that she's at, there's 30 to 60 people in this room, come and go, some of the same, some new every week. And it's something that she does every week. And I said, so you don't network? No, I just don't network. Well, what about that meeting that you go to every week? Well, yeah, but that's different. I said, why is that different? Aren't there people in there that can use what you, yeah, actually I've got 3 clients in that group. Oh, so then that's your fishing hole. That's where you're networking. Mm-hmm. And it's just a matter of changing her perspective of where we can network. So, for example, this woman's already going someplace where she was getting business, but she just didn't see it as, oh, okay, I see there are some of my perfect clients there. I can't, it was almost like it was an excuse. Well, Cami, I just don't go anywhere networking. So I guess it just doesn't work for me because I don't do it. Well, yeah, she was doing it. It's kind of her excuse as to why it wasn't working was because she wasn't doing it, but really she was doing it. Another example is a guy, I was giving a speech for a group called Vistage. Vistage is kind of like a mastermind for people who make $1 million and up into the hundreds of millions a year. And one of the guys that was in this group that I was speaking to, his name was John, and he was taking notes just frantically, just about networking and communicating, et cetera, et cetera. And he was like, well, you know, he said, I need people that are in the manufacturing industry. I need people of XYZ net worth. Like, just going to local chamber is not going to do it for me, Cami. Where do I go network? And I don't know why, but I was inspired to give this example, and it just landed on him like honey on ice cream or something. I said, well, what about, like, I don't know, like a yacht club or something? He said, what? He said, I go to yacht clubs all the time. He said, I love going to the yacht club. I've got a yacht. Da, 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 da. And I said, well, so when you're at the yacht club, what do you do? He said, well, I sit there and I have dinner and I keep my own business. I said, John, you're already going to a place where your contemporaries are, people that are going to need what they're already having their manufacturing companies. They already need consultants, et cetera, et cetera. I said, instead of sitting at the table by yourself and just being in the atmosphere, how about you move your happy ass up to the bar and just sit up there? I said, that is your network. That's your fishing hole, if you will. And so he was like, wow, you know what? I never thought about that. I go there once or twice a week. I always just sit by myself. I never thought about that being a place that I can network. So these are just a couple of examples. Here's the thing. We're doing this right now on Zoom. Social media is really big. Networking is not a place you go or something you put on your schedule. Every time you are putting in a Facebook post, every time you're doing a Facebook Live, every time you're sending an email, every time you're reaching out to somebody on LinkedIn, you are networking. So I've got templates and things like that on how to actually get business straight from the internet, and not going somewhere per se, but being strategic. For example, last Friday, just to prove a point, I went on Facebook and I went to my Facebook Messenger and I went down through all the people that I had been getting instant messages from, texting, you know, whatever that was. And I did a video message to each one of them. Now, a video message only takes 60 seconds tops. I mean, you got to be fast because it's cutting you off. So you can do a voice message or you can do a video message. And I was waiting for half an hour to get on a webinar. So my hair was done. I had a nice background behind me. I took my phone out. I just bam, 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 did 25 or 30 of these messages. Now, mind you, 30 minutes, I'm sitting there waiting on a webinar anyway, couldn't really get into anything else that would be too distracting for too long, waiting to get on this webinar, bam, 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 bam. In 30 minutes, I set up three strategy sessions, meaning people that I can talk to about one-on-one coaching. I set up one speaking engagement, talked to somebody that I know. I said, hey, when you guys want to do this again? He said, well, we got this date open. I said, okay, great. And the third one was, I did a podcast. So this particular person, we scheduled, we had been back and forth, text, email, video, got her off her ass, and she sent me, here's the law of reciprocity, people. I do something for you, you want to do something for me. As a matter of fact, she sent me back a video message herself, this person that I did the podcast with. She said, oh my God, Cami, that is so awesome. How creative of you. And so she sent me the video message. We ended up getting on and doing the podcast. And she said in the podcast, she said, that was so awesome. She said, I apologize. Now this is somebody who's expressive, beautiful, has a podcast, has interviewed Dr. John Gray from Men Are From Mars and Women Are From Venus. All this beautiful energy going on around. And when we were having our podcast for an hour talking about networking, wow, the fear that came out of her about how to follow up. And Cami, what do I do in this situation and that situation? We're actually now talking about coaching too. So the point is that within 30 minutes of time that I had to just kind of sit anyway, I said 3 strategy sessions, a speaking engagement, and a podcast. And the speaking engagement and the podcast, speaking engagement, there'll be at least 30, maybe 50 people in that room. So there's 30 to 50 leads anyway. Are they highly qualified? I don't know. I'll find out when I get there. But when I'm on the stage, I guarantee you at least 3 of them are highly qualified because it's a business meeting. And then the podcast, who knows, hundreds, thousands, tens of thousands may hear that over the years. So the point is that networking is not a place you go or something that you put on your schedule. So now that we busted those 3 myths, what I want to do is talk about how do we take 30 highly qualified leads in 30 days with as little as 30 minutes a day of effort. Now I'm going to move out of this screen. You guys are going to see me the same, but I'm going to just read some of my notes so that I don't miss anything. I want to talk to you about what this looks like. And what I just mentioned a minute ago with the, oh, it says I can't minimize while I am recording. Isn't that interesting? All right, well, we won't minimize then. We'll do something else. We'll sneak around it. There we go. So the 30 minutes a day, I just alluded to one of the ways that we can do that, the Facebook Live interaction. But this program that I'm doing is a 6-week program to go through tons of other strategies on how we can actually find these qualified, highly qualified leads in 30 days or less, and just keep that momentum going. It's not like, we're not sprinting to the finish line. We're running a marathon here. I mean, as a matter of fact, I don't know about you guys, if you've got 10, 20, 30, 50 years left of business in you like I do too. I'm 48 years old. I plan to be doing this for another 40 years. So for me, it's not just about what can I get in 30 days. It's about what can I do to keep the highly qualified leads. And, I've said before, I don't like to use the word leads because I don't like to be a lead myself, but I'm just using that word because I know that everybody understands what I mean. We're talking about people that we could potentially serve, okay? So if there is a group of people out there that you could potentially serve at a high level, shame on you if you are holding back that which you are and not being able to serve them. So let me talk to you a little bit about what this program is about. Module number 1, people are always asking me, Cami, what do I say? What do I say in that voice message that you're talking about, in that video message? What do I send in that email that you're talking about that you reached out to people with? What do I say at an event when it's my turn for the 30-second elevator pitch, which I'm all about ditching the pitch. The elevator pitch is dead. All these things that people want to know how to do are the skill set. Yes, we need the skill set. But I am a huge proponent, and any other coach that's watching, anyone who's done any personal development knows, I can give you all the scripts in the world, but if this isn't right, if our head's not right, we're not going to do it. Number one, we're not going to do it. And if we do any of these strategies, we're going to be coming from a place of fear and anxiety. So the first module that we're going to do is about mindset. We're going to talk about mindset versus skill set. Mindset versus skill set. We're going to talk about, if you want to have more, you have to become more. Jim Rohn's one of my mentors. You want to have more, you got to become more. So before we start opening our mouths or start sending those texts or start doing video messages, let's get our head in the game. So the first module, which would be 60 minutes, but probably more like 90 on this one, because I really want to talk about ways that we can improve our mindset. I've got a whole list of recommendations of books and audios, a different pattern of how we can use those to our advantage. Because here's the thing. When we get out there into the marketplace, whether it's face-to-face, Facebook, or on the phone, face-to-face, Facebook, or on the phone, words are good, like typed words are good. Voice is better. Seeing that person, video or in person, is best. Do you want good, better, or best? I'm going to give you all 3 so that you can use them at however is appropriate at the time, but that's module 1. Module 2, I want you guys to get into action immediately. I want you to start to see results immediately. So second module, once we've started thinking about our mindset and who are we wanting to be, how are we posturing and packaging and presenting ourselves in the public eye, now let's put some stuff to good use. So module 2, we're actually going to go through the Facebook Messenger audios and videos and many other things. Who do you send them to? How do you find those people? What do you say to those people? So it's who you do it with, what you say. Those are the scripts and the templates that I have. And we're going to go through how we do it. How do you want to posture yourself physically and emotionally when you're doing those types of things? So that's module number 2. That'll be a fun one because between module number 2 and module number 3, advice to you, my highly suggested recommendation, is that you do some of these and come back to the next call with the group and share with us exactly the benefits that you got out of it, because it'll be a lot of fun. Remember, my testimony on that is 3 strategy sessions, a speaking gig, and a podcast. What can you do in 30 minutes? Module number 3, we're going to talk about face-to-face interaction. We're going to talk about personalities and body language as much as we can in our time together on that engagement, because whether it's face-to-face, Facebook, or on the phone, it's all the same posturing. It's all understanding how the tonality works and understanding personalities, et cetera, et cetera. But in the face-to-face, we're going to get into that specifically about when you are walking into a networking situation that is face-to-face. So that'll be a lot of fun too. Module number 4, we're going to talk about how you build your credibility. And so if we are wanting to take 30 highly qualified leads in 30 days with as little as 30 minutes a day, we better have some good posturing, packaging, how we're presenting ourselves, so that we are positioning ourselves as the expert and the authority, so that these people want to do business with us. Because it's all well and good to talk to them, but if we don't know who we are, and if we don't have anything that they can go back and look at, I'm hearing all the time people say, Cami, I'm seeing all your Facebook Lives, and I saw you speak over here. I'm having people now reach out to me and ask me to come speak at their groups, et cetera, et cetera. So here's the thing. The name of the book that I have, Mingle to Millions, The Art and Science of Building Business Relationships and Mastering Referrals. It took me 1.5 years to get that out. And I'm so glad that it came out that way, because it explains exactly what I do. Build business relationships and master referrals. See, through this process that I'm going to be going through in this course, we are going to learn how to master referrals. And part of the way that we master referrals is by building that credibility in our audience before they even become our audience, like positioning ourselves. And we'll be talking about a lot of that. What does that look like? You know, there's some Facebook Live in there. There's ways that we give testimonials. Giving testimonials to people and how that all works out. I'll give you an example just real quick. Last night, I go to an event just to support my friend who was running the event, and she and I are chucking it up and having a good old time, and a friend of hers walks in, and this person introduces me. This is Cami Baker, and the friend just cocks her head. She goes, oh, she said, Nancy, you did a testimonial on your Facebook Live for her. She said, I remember hearing her name. This woman said, she said, I actually looked you up, Cami, because you were on Nancy's feed, and I was just wondering who you were. Now, I taught Nancy how to do that. And so it just goes to show it all comes out in the wash. So now I'm doing a Facebook Live with this woman, and I shared it with her on Facebook. So now her friends are going to be thinking, who is this person, Cami Baker? It's very interesting. And I'll teach you guys how to do that. Module number 5, we're going to talk about LinkedIn and Meetup and general emails, all the templates that I have put together as to how to reach out to people in those groups or in those different genres, and what to say to get them to want to respond to you. People will ask me, what do you think about LinkedIn? You know, because they always see me out at live events. They see me speaking and things. And they'll say, what do you think about LinkedIn? And I say, well, LinkedIn is fine, but if you're just copy, paste, the same old thing, and it's cramming stuff down your throat, and it's very clear that they were just another notch on the bedpost. They were just another number. They were just another somebody that got spammed. They ain't doing it. They're hitting delete, aren't you? Don't you too? So there's different ways of reaching out to people in all of these mediums that will help you to bridge the humanity gap. You know, I'm a business lead generator, but I don't do it through emails like, you know, blast emails or trying to get people to come to your website or all those other things. And they all have their purpose. They all have their place. But here's what I'll share with you. If you're one of those people who gets leads that come to your website, don't you ever have an opportunity to speak to a customer and need to convert them to a client? Aren't you ever going to networking events where you're meeting other people that you could collaborate with and learn from and joint venture with? Aren't you ever, even from sitting behind your computer doing your internet leads, aren't you ever jumping on a plane and going to another event where you could posture and package yourself and present yourself in such a way that people want to joint venture with you. Because if you're not, shame on you. That's how I've learned all of the things that I've learned in my life, is by getting out of my comfort zone. And so when I talk about LinkedIn and Meetup and all that kind of stuff, guys, this is about learning how to bridge the humanity gap. It's not about hiding behind the computer and just sending out messages and waiting for the cash to roll in. It is about using the computer, leveraging the computer, using it to our advantage, not to take advantage, but to have the advantage. But at the end of the day, whoever you're messaging is a human being. And it is so important that we know how to talk to them. I've got scripts and templates for all those different platforms as well. Module number 6, mastering the art and science of referrals, rinse and repeat. So all that being said, why is it that I walk into a venue last night and some woman I don't know, when she hears my name, says, oh yeah, I just looked you the day before, I was at a bookstore. I just was inspired to go to this bookstore. I grab a book, I sit down at a table. Long story short, the guy sitting across the table from me, after a couple of minutes of kind of looking at me, and I could feel him kind of looking at me, but I wasn't really sure why he was looking at me. He says, excuse me, I don't mean to interrupt you. Are you a coach? And I'm thinking, I just look like a coach, you know? I didn't know why I was asking that. And then he said, yeah, he said, I just saw some of your videos on YouTube. And now I'm thinking he's blowing smoke, right? Like he's just flirting or something. But then he started telling me my story. I said, wow, you actually did watch my videos. So all of this has to do with building credibility. Who are you being? Who are you positioning yourself as? Being able to get referrals because people are recognizing you, or when somebody introduces you, just the sheer mention of your name is something that is someone that they want to do business with. So this product is going to start, this group program that I'm doing. This is, by the end of the year, this is going to be my signature program. It is clear to me this is a signature program that, it's funny, I was talking with one of my coaches the other day, and she said, you know, Cami, it's like everybody that goes to Disney World can get a ticket in the door. She said, this 30 highly qualified leads in 30 days and as little as 30 minutes a day is kind of like the park hopper. Now you got the park hopper pass. You can hop around. Everybody that's networking needs to have it. And then the next thing is be the event. So for people who want to speak, who want to really, really take their game up in networking, who want to stop networking and start net webbing with planned strategy, with one-on-one and strategizing with me as to how they can do it. Now that is fast pass. Isn't that a fun analogy? You know, so this is the park hopper, and then I've got the fast pass too with be the event. But that is only, all right, I'll talk to you later, friend. No worries, thank you. So people who want to do the be the event are clearly people who are highly, highly, highly motivated to really, really get their business off to the next level. But this is definitely the park hopper pass. So by the end of the year, I'm looking to have it be a 1997 product, 1997 group package, because it's a signature. It's a signature thing that anyone who is networking, anyone that goes to Disney World needs to have a park hopper, don't they? They need to be able to hop around and be strategic and ride this ride over here and come over here and go to that restaurant because that's where they want it. They want to spend their time wherever they want to spend it. So this is kind of the park hopper. So 1997 is what it's going to be by the end of the year. By the summertime, I'm looking to make it a 997 product, because the more value, people tend to put more value on something that they spend more money on or that they invest more money on. However, because this is my pilot program, I'm wanting just my friends that I've invited. If you're watching this Zoominar, if you're on it today, it's because I personally invited you to be on it. And all of my one-on-one clients are going to be in the program. A couple of my select coaching friends are going to be in the program. We're going to start creating that worldwide webinar, worldwide web netweb, worldwide netweb. We're going to start creating that together in this program. So for this first round, I'm going to do it for $397. So if you have people in your coaching groups that you know, and you know them, you know that not about do you know someone, it's who do you know. It's who do you know that could actually use a leg up and how they're presenting and packaging themselves, and to stop wasting time with networking. Who do you hear constantly complaining that they don't have time to network, networking doesn't work, when they go networking they don't get the results that they want? Who do you hear complaining that they need more highly qualified leads that they can serve in their business? I'm looking for people who are servers, who want to serve. This isn't about, I met a couple of people last night that want to be in the program, and frankly, they're sharks. Dun, 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 dun. They want to use this information for evil and not for good, if you will. I'm not looking for sharks. I'm not looking for evil. I'm looking for visionary, heart-centered entrepreneurs and coaches who are going to use this information to make net playing, networking, net webbing, to make our human interaction fun. Make it fun. It's not something you have to do. It's something you get to do. I get to go out and meet people every day. I get to get jazzed up and jacked up when I go to an event and just have fun with it. I don't go in there with ulterior motives and dread and you know, who do I have to listen to long enough that I can finally share what I do? And what do you do? What do you do? You know, like, I make it fun to do the net webbing. I help my clients to see that it can be fun. I help them to strategize how to do it in such a way that they're not wasting time, and that when they go, they talk to 3 qualified people instead of 30 random massive people that they never are going to follow up with. So that's and the bonuses that I want to give with this. Let me read those out. First bonus is I have Mingle to Millions the Maverick Way. Last year I did a fun event in Jacksonville, Florida, and I had it videoed. It's over an hour. I've sold it for $197 many times. It was a great event. Mingle to Millions the Maverick Way. Basically, it's one of my live events that I spoke at, and the group was on fire. I was on fire. It's a lot of fun, so I'm going to give that for free to anybody who joins as a bonus. Second bonus is I have a report that's 50 plus tips on how to network at expos, trade shows, and large seminars, like the ones that you go to that are overnight and things like that. If you go to trade shows or expos, you go to your local area and they've got the little business expo or different trade shows for bridal things or first-time home buy, any of that kind of stuff. I've got it 50 plus tips. As a matter of fact, these tips are going to be a book within a couple of years when I've got time to focus on it. It's going to make a great book, but you can have that PDF for free. And the last thing that you get for free with this is the Mingle to Millions book, which will be out in the next couple of weeks, actually printed and in my hand this week to review, and then I'm going to have it all ready to go. So the Mingle to Millions, the art and science of building business relationships and mastering referrals. Thank you, God, for finally giving me a name for the book that I can say, and it actually says exactly what I do. If you want to build business relationships, if you want to master referrals, and if you want to take that skill into any type of relationship in your whole life. I mean, you know, the thing is when we start to understand the neurolinguistics and the body language and the posturing and how we're communicating with people and the different personalities and what personality is your guy, what personality is are your children, are your coworkers, et cetera, it makes the communication a lot easier. So on that note, I want to see if my friends Jeff and Emily have any questions. I've got another friend on the phone, but I'm not sure what that person's name is. So do you guys have any questions about the information that I've shared today?
Well, first of all, fantabulous, Cami. I am impressed. As a coach who's been doing a lot in the arena of speaking and events, et cetera, for many years, I am highly impressed. I'm sitting on the edge of the seat here going, wow, 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 which is kind of like without words. But that said, this is phenomenal. I mean, I have to look at my norm for my 21 days Transform Your Mind program is 997. So basically, what you're to do on an intro basis with you to get rolling is virtually half a client, half a new client technically. And I find that absolutely phenomenal. Wow. Fantastic. Thank you.
Well, we'll talk at the end about how you and Emily can both participate. Maybe for one buy-in, you guys can both sit in. I love both of you dearly, and with her being a virtual assistant, this is a way, Emily, that you can find clients all over the world. Once again, networking doesn't have to be a place we go or something we put on our calendar. So if you're going to net web, create that net web on the web. You can find people that are absolutely perfect for what you do, highly qualified leads, and do it just like I've been doing on the web, and or going out to live events, of course. And I know where you guys are. And here's the beauty of this: where you guys are, there really aren't many events. Let's be honest. There probably aren't a lot of people, Emily, that need what you do. There just aren't, because they probably don't have online businesses or have a need for a virtual assistant, etc. You come down to the Boston area, you better be really efficient with your time. When you're here for a couple of days and you're going to a couple of events, you better be spot on with how you are being seen and received, so that you go home with a couple of highly qualified leads that you can convert. And this isn't about selling people. It isn't about targeting people that we can take their wallet. This is about finding highly qualified leads or people that when we serve them at a high level, now there's just all this yummy energy churning and brewing, because they are going to send us referrals. And just talking with, sometimes they're a highly qualified client, but the timing's not right for them for whatever reason. I've had, in the last 30 days, I've had two people that one was didn't become a client, just not good timing for her, but she immediately referred me to another guy who isn't going to be a client, but he's a big top-notch speaker. And he and I are having a collaboration call about how either I'm going to get on stages with him, or he can turn me on to other people who he's worked with to get on stage. In other words, being able to communicate, conversate, collaborate to create the impact, income, and influence that we want doesn't necessarily mean I got to have your wallet right now. What it means is I'm communicating with you as human being to human being, bridging the humanity gap. Let's talk. Let's see what works. Sometimes it's not a good fit, but that doesn't mean that they're not going to refer you to other people when you are postured and packaged and presented the right way. I've got another woman that I did do a smaller package with, and she just introduced me to some people with the Women's Women's Network. I've heard about this group for over a year. I've heard about it like 6 times. There's something I'm supposed to be doing with this group. I've looked them up and well, she gave me the phone number and the name of the person, like the person to talk to in that group. Took a year, but enough swirling energy and enough good communication. And that's yet one other great lead that I got out of that relationship. So thank you guys for your time on the Zoominar today. I'm going to stop recording, and the dates for this one I'm not going to put on this recording, because I'm actually going to use this recording more than once, and I don't want to date it, but I will send over the dates of when we're going to be doing it. And I just want to love and blessings, and thank you for participating and helping me record this, and I'll talk to you guys later. Bye-bye.
Thanks. Bye-bye.